Hi, this week I played Red Dragon Argent again at Locust because all my cards finally arrived. I was mostly missing staples, and I wanted to show the deck build I'm currently playing. So, for my starters, I play 3 Soul, 3 Gaia, 3 Resonator Call, 3 Stone Sweeper, and 3 Bone Archfiend. So, a bit of the some stuff for the starters. Soul Resonator is one of the best ones to hard draw, I would say. I think it is the best one to hard draw. Just because it lets you play around roll. Gaia is also really nice because it is the only real one card combo in here, because every other combo requires a discard to summon Bone Archfiend. But in the combo starting with Gaia, you can just send a Gaia. And the worst one, I think, is the Bone Archfiend one card combo, and it's also like more of a if you have to, you do it. Because you can't search the trap in the end with Vision Resonator, because you summon this, effect of it, target itself, send Vision, search yourself Gaia. Effect of Gaia to search Soul, normal summon Soul, so you have to summon Bone Archfiend first with its effect, and then you go into your normal combo lines, which is a bit less optimal because you already used Vision and Gaia and can't add one of your 2 Red Dragon Archfiend traps you're playing, which are normally part of your end board. Then for more engine requirements and kind of extenders, 2 Crimson, 2 Vision, 1 Synchron. I think you could cut down the Crimson to 1, but I think it's really nice to have a second one if one gets banished, which can totally happen from Bestials, DD Crows, or other effects, maybe Little Knights. I really like especially these 3. They are also very searchable with the Earthbound monster and the Resonator Call, so you can add them as extenders, and also if you draw them, they are nice extenders. Also, if you draw Crimson Resonator, its effect to special summon itself is really nice. I think Crimson and Bone Archfiend in hand is like the best combo of the deck, and that's one thing I really like about the deck, that except from the Sepay, no card really here is a dead card, and everything is just an extender in the right situation, of course. Then 1 Wandering Coin, 1 Salamander, 1 Uberloop. Just this here for more non-tuner access, if you maybe need another one after you used your Bone Archfiend and you still have a search with your Soul Resonator. This one lets you play around Nibiru. I won't get into the combo, but it's explained in the Playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Properly series. And Obsessive Uberloop, just because it's mandatory for many combos, and this and Bone Archfiend in the grind game are insane. You basically get a free level 8 synchro every turn, which at least a free level 8 synchro every turn, which really is nice for the deck and gives you some longevity, even though most games you won't even need it. Then the Sepay package, in my opinion, I prefer this at the moment to Crossout. First of all, Crossout is a bit too expensive for me, but on the other hand, you can also use these cards going further when you're not getting hand trapped, because you can only use your Crossout designator if your enemy hand traps you, but this you can also just use as an extender after you comboed, which I think is really nice. It helps you raise your ceiling in games where you don't get hand trapped. Then the 2 engine traps, 1 Fiendish Golem, 1 Red Zone. Depending on what you have, you search the one which better synergizes with your board. And last one for the engine part, 3 Pot of Prosperity, just for that extra consistency. Sometimes going second, you should first think if you really want to activate it, or wait to activate it until you really have to, because often this deck can OTK if you don't activate Prosperity, so don't just activate it blindly. But I think it is really good just to fix your hands, and also get into your non-engine, because I decided to mainly play board breakers, and it's very nice to have a chance to draw into one with Pot of Prosperity. The ones I chose for the main deck is 3 Talents, 3 Droplet, 3 Imperm. I chose these because they are all good going first and going second. This year, very nice if you going first and get hand trapped. If you can continue playing, just look at your opponent's hand and rip any remaining hand traps out of it. If you can't keep playing, draw 2, very nice, and it's incredibly in breaking boards if you can have the ability to take control of an opponent's monster. This also very nice, you can just set it going first and going second. It can be so useful. Also, you can use it, for example, to dodge an Imperm or Vader or other targeted effects. And the fact that it doesn't target itself is helpful against so many matchups, especially at the moment Voiceless Voice. Being able to stop the Skull Guardian negate and also half its attack is very nice and can really help OTK your opponent. And then 3 Imperm. This is very nice, I think, because if you play against a combo heavy deck which you have to stop first turn, you can use this first turn. But in most cases, I will just not use this during my opponent's turn and save it for the beginning of my turn, for example, hitting something like Appaloosa, because your opponent doesn't really have, for example, in the Snake I match, anything to really protect it, because Baron and Savage Dragon are gone. So more often than not, I just save this for my turn to disable something on the opponent's side and then break their board and hopefully kill them, because this game, this deck is incredibly at OTKing enemies if it has to go second. Going first is much better, and I would always pick going first. Maybe not against Vampire Dragon, but that's a different story. I haven't played any of those, the Slogas. But this deck can also go second so well, that's why I also chose the board breaker approach. And it's so easy to kill your opponent, because in your standard combo line you will, with 1 Soul Resonator, if your opponent has a monster that can be destroyed, you will usually end with at least Red Dragon Archfiend, Scarlet Red Dragon, Scarlet Dragon Archfiend, and your Abyss, which is game if they don't have anything left on the board. And more often than not, you can even go further than that. I think even in the standard combo you make a Desparta out of the Scarlet Red Dragon Archfiend. But for the extra deck now, 3 Red Rising wouldn't change that at all. Many games you need 3, sometimes even in the first turn. The fact that this card is not once per turn makes this deck so good. 1 Kui Bait. Really nice if you have awkward board states where you have to make a level 7 because, for example, your Bone Archfiend got Vadered or Impermed. So can really recommend this here, or just if you have this on board and a Synchron in hand, it's really nice, and the fact that it can pop a card is just really nice, and then you can go further from it with your other extenders. To Scarred, this card is just insanely busted. The fact that if it goes to the grave, it gets you another non-tuner body on the field is so important in this deck. Also, if you use it as synchro material, that it blows up all your opponent's attack position monsters, allows you so many OTKs. And if you use it as synchro material, while you have Crimson Gaia up, what will happen is it will go to the graveyard, it will summon the Red Dragon Archfiend, blow up your opponent's board, and then because a card was destroyed, a monster was destroyed, you can then summon a Red Dragon Archfiend from the graveyard, which discounts as a Red Dragon Archfiend in the graveyard, and you will get the spec, which means you have the Scarred Red Dragon, the normal Red Dragon Archfiend, and the card you synchro summoned, which with every card in this extra deck is game if your opponent doesn't have anything left, which is so nice. And there are so many ways to get to a state like that. Then to Red Dragon for the Scarred effect. 1 Scarlight, this is also insanely busted in breaking apart boards, and it won me a game with where we I think started with 25 seconds left on the clock because I went to main phase, made this and a resonator, activated its effect, burned my opponent, won the game and the match thanks to that, which was really nice. It also is very nice that it is not hard once per turn. I mean, if you activate its effect, it gets destroyed. You have a Crimson Gaia, you can summon it back, destroy your opponent's cards again, which can be very helpful. Just be a bit mindful that you don't blow up your own board or have a Soul Resonator in graveyard to prevent your own board from being blown up. One Void Ogre Dragon, just very nice. Sometimes you have situations where you have to end on a level 8, and this is very nice, just giving you an additional negate. And also because I don't play any hand traps, I most often don't really need to keep anything. If I go first, I will just try to go through all my material in my hand to combo and then set my non-engine. 2 Hot Dragon Argent Abyss. This could maybe be cut down to 1 if I decide on what else I could play here. Maybe a Dark End Dragon if it gets a reprint and gets less expensive sometimes. But 2 of this is very nice because sometimes you just want to make another one because you use the one to synchro summon further and just want to get another one back then. Really nice. The negate is very cool. You can also, if you have your Crimson, your Red Zone, play around Darkruder with it, because if your opponent activates Darkruder no more, you can just flip up your Red Zone, and then you're allowed to activate monster effects again, and then you can negate a Darkruder with this. So this is very helpful to just prevent your opponent from doing so many things. Hot Red Dragon Arching Bane, also very nice. To OTK, just the fact that you can tribute a monster, get a Red Dragon Arching monster back from your graveyard is insane in getting more damage on board. This still the Spada, which could, for all intents and purposes in this deck, also be a Red Dragon Arching because this card fits perfectly. Being able to summon back your banished, for example the cards you banish with Loop, is really great. And the interruption on your opponent's turn is also really nice if one of you has banished cards. And then the Big Daddy Red Supernova Dragon. This card gets insane high attack values because it starts with 4,000, gets 500 for every Fiend Tuner in your graveyard. This card spirals out of control incredibly fast. Also, its effect is really nice. To be honest, the 1-card combo doesn't really set us up. You can go for it, but more often it's just better to go for the Sparta and Hot Red Dragon, because this can only respond to monster effects. But if you can make this, it is just so good against so many decks. Being able to banish their whole feat, and if you're having Red Zone do it again in that turn, is a game ender for most decks who can't negate it. Then, also funny thing, if your opponent should stop this, you can banish this with your own Fiendish Golem and get it back with your Red Zone, and then you can activate the effect again. For the side deck, I went heavier into Board Breakers. I also already really liked the ones I had in here, and I was debating what to play. Sadly, this deck can't really play Lava Golem because you need your normal summon. So I had to settle for some other board breakers. Darkruder and Evenly, they are for matchups where if you break their board, they lose. This is because you can't OTK them after you activate this card. You have to ensure that after you break their board, you are in a much better position. For example, Evenly matching a Voice player can be really nice because you get rid of the low permanently, you get rid of the Skull Guardian permanently because you get rid of their spells and traps. And for some combo decks who just make big monster boards, Darkruder is just very nice to be able to break the board, because this deck struggles playing into negates and also against sand traps, and being prepared for something like that is very good. Then, just because there's so much back row to hit in this format, I played a lot of back row removal. Also, I didn't really think of any other board breakers which I had on hand. And this deck also cannot play against stun decks if you don't draw an out to like skill drain. Yeah, that's why I played very heavy lineup of spell and trap removal, 2 Cosmic Cyclones, 1 Archfiend Eccentric because you can search it with your Soul Resonator, and 2 Lightning Storm, just to get rid of all those back row cards. And then I wanted something for going first, where I didn't really need something like my Imperms or my Forbidden Droplets, and wanted to play something more impactful. First of all, Called by the Grave. As I said, hand traps can be very detrimental to the deck. Being able to Called by a Effect Raider targeted at your Red Rising Dragon is really nice. And then 3-dimensional Dimensional Barrier, not Dimensional Prison, I'm sorry. This card was a really solid choice. I really enjoyed it against the deck I could use it against. I think it was a good choice. Previously I played Summon Limit, but that got banned, and I think this is a very good replacement, just to give you something to draw into to make your first turn even better if you draw it. To make your board harder to break, it's harder for your opponent to play through it. Yeah, I'm really happy with the list. The tournament went first very bad, then better. First I lost completely to Voiceless Voice. The first game was kind of a back and forth, but he just outgrinded me. I couldn't deal with the Omni Negate every turn and all the protection and recursion this deck had, so I went 0-2. Next I played against Snake Eyes. Worse enough that Snake Eyes is a much stronger deck, but I also didn't draw one of my 15 starter cards in both games, so I could start playing because I had like combinations of Wandering King, Whirlwind and Resonators and stuff, but not really a good combo, and he had hand traps and it was just 2 very fast losses. Next I played against Runic Stun. First game I absolutely clapped him. Next game he could deck me out after a very long time, and then we had like 30 seconds left for the last game, which, as I said, I could burn him with my Scarred Red Dragon Archfiend, and I won that. Last match was against Cyber Dragon. First game, I went first. He could break my board, deal a lot of damage. He took over my Supernova with his talents, but he couldn't get rid of it at the end of the turn, and he just dealt 500 damage too few to kill me. And next round I could just disassemble his board using Scarred Red Dragon and then kill him with the Supernova already on board. Then the next game I went first again. He could break my board and just very cleanly OTK me. And the last game I won. It was a bit more back and forth, but no, wait, he won. Sorry, my bad. I went first again. How went that game? Give me a moment to think. No, I lost, my bad. Went first again, set up a board. He couldn't break it in one turn, but I had then a really hard time coming back against the Cyber Dragon Infinity, and then he could take the game in the end. Yeah, that's all. I'm very happy with this deck. I'm having a lot of fun, and I'm looking forward, but I'm also looking forward to play another deck next week at Locus.